What is up? Happy 2024. That's kind of wild, but I mean, I'm probably the 5,000th person to start their first video of 2024 like that, so I apologize. This 24 is the Kobe year. I just read a book about Kobe. It was awesome. But anyway, I hope you guys are doing well. Hope you're having a great start to your year. I actually took the first year of the week off. Kind of a last second decision. Was a great decision. I feel very refreshed and very excited to be back, to be making stuff and streaming as well. I don't know if you knew that, but I've been streaming over on Twitch. It's a lot of fun. Anyway, today we are doing an annual video, one that I wasn't 100% sure I was gonna do for this year, but a lot of people have literally, like, my DMs are like, so when's that video? Like, are you making that video? It's here. Hi. What's up? So today we're gonna be talking about my most listened to music of 2023, which is fun and exciting, but also a little nerve-wracking for me. I don't know, I think people seem to have a lot of expectations about what I listen to, and when what I actually listen to doesn't match those expectations, some people get upset, and that's okay. You know what? If you get upset, that's fine. So I am going to do this in the same order that I usually do. Albums, then artists, then songs. And I will say my albums have been out on my Instagram for like a couple weeks now because I do a photo project over there, but we'll get into that in a minute. I already know people are going to ask, so I do want to say before we get into it, I use a website called Last.fm to track my music every year, and I just like it a lot more than just going by Spotify Wrapped because you get exact numbers and you can see literally everything. I can see every album that I've listened to this year, every song, every artist, like all the exact numbers. So I definitely recommend using that. Sign up, you can link it to your Spotify. I think you can also link it to Apple Music, but I could be wrong about that. But it's my favorite way to track music, and that is what I use. So if you're gonna ask, that is the answer. Yes, this is going to be a chatty video today, so get cozy, get comfortable. I should have made tea. I have water though. Stay hydrated. So we're gonna start out with my top 10 albums of the year. Like I said, these have actually, like I revealed them over on Instagram. I do this thing where I take photos inspired by each album and I post them. It's just like a fun photo project I do. It's kind of a little over the top and silly and ridiculous, but I enjoy it, so I just do it anyway. So feel free to check me out on Instagram if you want to see all the photos I took inspired by each of these albums. We are going to be jumping in right now to my top 10 most listened to albums of 2023. So I do want to say, actually, this is something I always mean to bring up in these videos, and I never do. According to Last.fm, I listened to a total of 1,869 albums in 2023, which can just refer to me listening to like one song on one album one time. So it's not like I know that many albums, because I don't. At number 10, we have an album called Good Riddance by Gracie Abrams. I had 374 plays on this album, and I should say plays means number of times a song from that album was played. Not that I listened to the full album 374 times. That would be insane. This album, a little bit of a surprise to me, honestly, because I will say my relationship with this album went the exact way that I expected it to. When I first listened to it, I didn't like latch onto it immediately, but I think I even said in my reaction to that album, I was like, do I like feel like a super strong connection to this album right now? No, but I think it's an album that takes time to digest, and it absolutely did. The more I listened to it, the more things I'd pick up on, and the more like little lyrics and little moments and songs would just like capture my entire heart. Also helps that some of the songs are just like really relatable and whatever. My favorite song and my most played song on that album is Best, which is the opening track. That's one of those ones that just hits real close for me, and it's also really pretty, and it's a really good album. Oh, Amelie is such a beautiful song, and Gracie's just one of my favorite artists, like one of my favorite go-to artists when I'm like, I don't really know what I feel like listening to. Like, Gracie Abrams is always a safe bet for me, so love her. At number 9 on the list, we have this album called 5 Sauce 5 by 5 Seconds of Summer. This album, as you know, came out 2022, right? Yeah, right at the end of 2022. So it's been out for a little over a year, and it is the latest project from 5 Seconds of Summer. 5 Sauce 5, honestly, obviously I loved it when it came out, but I didn't think of it as like my favorite 5 Sauce album or anything, but I looked at Last.fm. I can see like my entire history with 5 Sauce, and it is the most listened to album from me over my time knowing 5 Sauce. I've listened mostly to 5 Sauce 5, which surprised me because I thought it would be Youngblood, because that is my favorite 5 Seconds of Summer album. I've listened to this one the most, which is really cool, and I had 386 plays on this one. And my most played song did surprise me, and it is Bleach. I was really surprised by that. I mean, not because it's not a great song, but it's just like one of the deeper ones that I don't necessarily think about that much, but apparently I listen to it a lot and it is beautiful. I'm actually very happy that's my most listened to, because I do absolutely adore that song. At number 8, guys, listen. Don't listen. Just, I have no excuses for this, okay? But at number 8, we have an album called 1989 Taylor's Version. Came out at the end of October. I had 443 plays on this album, and my most played song, I think you guys can probably guess which one it was. Is It Over Now? Yeah, I have to tell you, and we will talk more about this later, don't you worry. The main reason this made it to my top 10 most listened to was because of the vault. I did go through a few weeks where it was just those 5 songs on repeat consistently, and like that's all, I would just listen to those 5 over and over and over again. So if you took away my vault listens, this probably wouldn't have made this list, but it was that vault, that perfect vault, that did it for me. So here we are. Also, side note, for those of you who did follow the Instagram countdown that I did, the order has changed. It's still the same top 10 albums, but the order changed. So if you're like, wait, that wasn't there before, yeah, it is now. At number 7, we have one of what has become one of my favorite albums of all time, Emails I Can't Send by Sabrina Carpenter, and yes, this does include both standard and deluxe versions of the album. This album, to me, is literally perfect front to back. Even my least favorite song on this album, which is Bad for Business, I will openly admit that, I still like get so hyped when it's such a fun song, and it's like my least favorite, but it's still so good, and it's just every aspect of this album is everything to me. And Sabrina has so quickly just become one of my favorite artists as well. Like she's fucking hilarious, first of all, and she's just so, I don't know, she's a perfect person who makes perfect music, and I love her so much. She is so quickly become one of my favorite artists, and I love her, and I just need everybody to know that. Emails I Can't Send had 458 plays for me this year, and my most listened to track was Feather, which was a grower, actually. I mean, I liked it when I first listened to it, but it was not my favorite even of the deluxe tracks when I listened to those. And then, man, I'm so sorry for your loss. There's just nothing more fun than saying that. It's so good. At number 6, we have, well, my favorite album of all time, and I know most of you know what that means. We have Folklore. Yeah, just, you know, Folklore, whatever. I adore Folklore. As you know, it is my favorite album of all time, obviously also my favorite Taylor Swift album. You know, we'll talk about this in a minute, but there's a thing, we'll talk about it in a minute. But I had 467 plays on Folklore, and this surprised me. My top track was actually The Lakes, which I love that song, but I did not think it would be my top played. And right behind The Lakes was The Last Great American Dynasty, which doesn't surprise me. That is in my top 5 Taylor Swift songs. I think I feel a connection to it because I live in Rhode Island, and whatever stupid connections I live for relating, connecting to music. So, you know, I will say I have a very different relationship with Folklore than I did when I first listened to that album. If you know, you know. But nowadays, I can listen to that and feel good the entire time, which is not something that I would have thought a few years ago. So yeah, that's Folklore. At number 5, we have an album called The Good Witch from Maisie Peters with 480 listens. As you can see, I have, right behind my head, I have a Good Witch personalized signed vinyl from my friend Amanda. Literally met Maisie and got that for me, which is insane, and I'm so grateful for, like, that's so cool. But anyway, The Good Witch, oh, what a good album. I just love Maisie. Maisie's another artist who's like quickly become one of my favorites. Just go to, like, what do I want to listen to? I don't know. Maisie Peters, safe bet. If you don't include the singles, which is not really a fair thing to do, my top track on this album was actually The Good Witch. I just think that song is so beautiful. Reminds me of the opener from You Signed Up For This, which is You Signed Up For This, and I just love all the connections in that song and everything. But if you do count the singles, my most listened to is Body Better. I did not stop listening to that song when it came out. At number 4 on the list, we have another album from 2022. It is SOS by SZA. Guys, another, like, incredible album front to back, and another one that takes a long time to digest, not because it's like hard music to like grasp or understand, but because there's just such good writing in it, and that's like kind of gets buried because, you know, there's so many lyrics on that album. If you sit down and you like really listen to like what she's saying, like you pick up on new things all the time. I'm still picking up on new things in this album to this day. My most listened to song on that album, very basic of me, but it is Nobody Gets Me. I think F2F, Nobody Gets Me, and Special are like my favorites, but also Ghost in the Machine is really good, and Gone Girl and Blind. Also, for anybody who is asking, because some people have been, my SOS reaction was blocked and I cannot get it back up. I'm guessing it has something to do with Lana, not Del Rey, but the extended edition of SOS that's supposed to come out sometime soon. Once that drops, I'm expecting the video to go back live, but we'll see. I can't get it to go back up, I'm sorry. But yeah, hopefully when Lana drops, which I cannot wait for, by the way, that will go back up. We will see. At number 3, and this is what I wanted to talk about before, on this list, we have an album called Evermore by Taylor Swift with 510 plays. And so this like is kind of an interesting debate that I have with myself all the time. Folklore versus Evermore, right? And I always say Folklore is my favorite album, and that is true, but I do listen to Evermore more than I listen to Folklore. I think Evermore has better replay value than Folklore does, but Folklore just means the world to me. For me, Folklore is more than it just being about the songs, about the music. It's just about like what it did for me when it came out and like what it's done for me over the years. It's just, that album means everything to me. So it's like Folklore and Evermore. Folklore is my favorite, but Evermore is so close behind. And like some days I prefer Evermore to Folklore. Those albums, like, they're sisters, you know, like they're together. But yeah, so Evermore is actually my 3rd most played album of the year, which is kind of crazy and makes me really happy. Oh, and my top song is Gold Rush. You guys know I love Gold Rush, so yeah, that's not surprising to really anybody. Number 2 on the list for this year, Midnights. You guys know that album by Taylor Swift? Yeah, Midnights at 561 plays. I don't think this is surprising to anybody. Midnights, dude, I appreciate Midnights now 1,000 times more than I did when it came out. When it first came out, I think it just like took me a little time to adjust to, because like it's not really a new sound from her, it's pop, like she's done pop before, but it felt new. And I don't know if that's because of the Folklore Evermore break, but it took me a little time to adjust to it, and now it is like one of my favorites. It's up there right now with Folklore and Evermore, which is not something I would have said when it came out at all, but I just adore it now. My most listened to song was Maroon with 51 plays, but Mastermind was literally right behind it. I think like 49 plays I think it had. Those 2 songs were 2 of my favorites when the album did first drop, and they have stayed 2 of my favorites until now. So yeah, it's just cool that, you know, Taylor's music, specifically Taylor's music, is music for me that changes over time, and that like I'm always picking up on new things. It's because she's such a freaking incredible writer, obviously, but whatever. And this is my number 1 most listened to album of the year. I wonder how many of you know. My number 1 listened to album of the year is Stick Season by Noah Kahan. This album had my heart immediately. I think I started listening to this, I don't think I started listening to until the deluxe came out, which I think was in June of this year. So it only had half the year, but it really just skyrocketed above everybody. With 616 plays, by the way. This album is just so cozy and so beautiful, and also so well written. Like, the writing on this album is insane and gorgeous and just makes you feel so many things. And if you know me, you know I like to feel things. I like feeling emotions, whatever. My most listened to song from this album is You're Gonna Go Far. That song, to me, that is my song of the year. Is it my most played song of the year? We'll talk about that soon, but it is my song of the year. It is such a beautiful song. It makes me so emotional. I cannot listen to that song and not cry. Not gonna lie, like every single time. It's so beautiful. There's so many things I can relate to the song, and I know so many people can relate to the song, whether you are the person who leaves or your friends leave or your family leaves. If you know the song, then you know what I mean, but it's just like, it's just one of my favorite songs ever. It's so, ugh, whatever. But Stick Season as a full album, incredible, beautiful, perfect. Like, it won't surprise me if Stick Season makes my top 10 this year as well. We shall see, but I really feel like it might. And here you can see some honorable mentions that didn't quite make it, but were really close. I think the 2 albums that people were most surprised to not see on this list when I was doing the countdown on Instagram were Guts and Snow Angel, but they were close. They were up there. They definitely were. You can see a lot of Taylor Swift. Listen, it was the year of eras, a lot of Lizzie McAlpine. You can see Death Cab, Novo More, you know, lots of stuff. Good stuff. All right, next we are getting into my top 10 artists of 2023, and there is a lot of crossover obviously with the albums, but not 100%, because starting out, number 10, we actually have Olivia Rodrigo. Now, as you saw, Guts did not make my top 10 albums, but I did listen to a lot of both Guts and Sour this year as a mix, plus some stuff from High School Musical, like All I Want. I still love that song. Also, the Rose song's really good. But yeah, Olivia with 425 plays at number 10. At number 9, like I said, quickly has become one of my favorite artists just in general, Sabrina Carpenter with 517 plays. I will say, I'm very much an emails girly. I'm not gonna lie. I listened to mostly emails, and then Fruitcake as well. When that came out, I listened to a lot of that. I do not listen to her early stuff nearly as much. I do think I need to like actually sit down and give those albums like a true real listen, because I've only kind of heard them here and there. Like obviously I know Paris, I know Sue Me. There's some other songs that I literally can't even think of right now. I'm very much an emails girly, and I'm very much looking forward to whatever she puts out next. I can't wait. I mean, not that I expect it anytime soon, because I feel like she's just like in a good place right now with the deluxe songs and everything. Like she's absolutely thriving. So whenever she wants to put out another album, I will be waiting patiently. At number 8, again, we have SZA. Now SZA also, I will say, I mostly listen to SOS, but I also love Control. It's just that when SOS came out, I became very attached to that album, which is kind of crazy, because I was like, oh, hope it can be as good as Control. And then as much as I still love Control, for me, SOS blew Control out of the water. No pun intended. So most of my SZA listens are definitely from SOS, and again, cannot wait for the deluxe of that to come out, because she's been teasing it for a while and then like kind of backed off. I don't know. We'll see. At number 7, we have Gracie Abrams. Like I said, Gracie is one of my go-to artists that I can just throw on at any time and I will be happy about it. I just think her music it's like easily digestible, but in like a very smart way. Does that make sense? No, it doesn't. It doesn't, but I'm gonna say it anyway. Like her lyrics and her writing and the style of her music is really beautiful and intelligent, but also super easy to digest at the same time. It's just like really easy listening for me anyway, and I just love Gracie. At number 6, we have Noah Kahan with 628 plays. All of that, almost all of that, coming from Stick Season, I should say. I haven't listened to his other stuff. I know he's got EPs and things like that, but I really just listened to Stick Season for the most part. I've heard a few songs a few times outside of that album, but yeah, I should listen to his other stuff though. If I love Stick Season as much as I do, like, why haven't I yet? I don't know. At number 5, we have an unsurprising one, and that is Lizzie McAlpine. Last year, 5 Seconds Flat was actually my number 1 most listened to album, and her albums did not make my top 10 albums this year, but she did make my top 10 artists at number 5, and I think it's because at this point, I listened to all of her music just kind of mixed. So, you know, she has a decent sized discography at this point. Obviously not a ton of music. She's got 1 EP and 2 albums, and I just kind of listened to all of that together because I love everything she puts out. Also, can't wait for her next project, which probably this year. If I had to guess, I feel like she's gonna put out an album this year. I just thought about that and it made me really happy, so yeah, that's really cool. Anyway, Lizzie McAlpine. At number 4, we have Maisie Peters. Again, unsurprising. She has 2 fantastic albums along with some other EPs, but another artist whose entire discography I can listen to easy. She is somebody that I've like meant to see in concert twice and didn't get to go either time. One time I didn't go because I was having too much anxiety, whatever, but it's fine. No, it's fine. But it will happen someday. It has to. At number 3, we have an artist slash band who is extremely, extremely, extremely close to my heart, who I love so much, who I've seen in concert so many times. The artist I've seen in concert the most is this artist, and it is Jukebox the Ghost. They are a band who I've known since about like 2018-ish. That band means the world to me, and if you don't know, I did interview them on the channel last year or the year before. I can't keep track of time anymore. They were cool enough to let me interview them for the channel when I reacted to their album Cheers. So you can check that video out if you want, but they're just really cool, and I'm just really grateful that they exist. And you might not know them. If you don't, give them a listen. Go to their Spotify page, just check some stuff out. If you want, just, I can't say enough good things about them, and go check out the video where I interviewed them. If you want, you don't have to, but it's like my favorite video I've ever done, because like, It's really cool to me, but anyway, whatever. At number 2, we have another band that I love a lot, featuring 4 dudes, not 5. Common mistake. 5 Seconds of Summer. I saw them live twice this year. I think, oh wait, I forgot the Eras Tour exists. I don't know. I want to say like the Boston show that I went to in August, one of the best concerts I've ever been to in my life. I know that's not what we're talking about right now, but like it was so good. The 5 Sauce show. I went to 2 of the shows, but the second one in particular was just so much fun. So 5 Seconds of Summer, number 2 on my list. They're obviously one of my favorite artists. If you know, you know. And even though like only one of their albums made my top 10 albums, they're number 2 on my list because they have a really large discography that I will happily just listen to all smushed together. So yeah, they're number 2 on my list because I love them. Number 1, all right, obviously we know where this is going. Listen, it was the year of eras. So I don't want to hear anything from anybody about these numbers, but my number 1 artist of the year, Taylor Swift. Like big, shocking, what? Whoa, everybody, whoa, crazy. Listen, the year of eras made me listen to Taylor Swift more than I think I ever have in my life, which is crazy because I've been a Swiftie since like 2011-ish. I had 3,923 plays of Taylor Swift this year, which 5 Seconds of Summer was number 2 and I had 902 plays by them. That just goes to show how much Taylor Swift I listened to this year. And again, yes, I just listened to her a lot in general, but going to the Eras Tour twice, like that fueled my Taylor listening because I'm sure everybody does this before you go see an artist. You just like listen to them a ton because you're just like so excited and whatever. But yeah, it's been the year of Taylor Swift in every single regard. Everybody knows that. So yeah, it was also the year of Taylor Swift for me with so many plays. So many. I don't know what we're getting next from her, by the way. Who knows? Rep? Debut? A fresh album? It could be anything, and you know what? I will be happy with literally any of it, so whatever, it's fine. Also, yes, I am holding my Sabrina Carpenter Sweet Tooth lip gloss, because we love Sabrina. Anyway, okay, and here you can see some honorable mentions, some of the next artists on my list. Renee was right there. Phoebe was right there. I didn't listen to Phoebe as much this year as I have in the past. Death Cab, absolutely. Big Time Rush. I mean, I did see them in concert this year, so I did listen to them a bit, and it was one of the most fun concerts of my life. I cannot lie. Nova More, a new artist for me this year. Absolutely adore. We've got Lana, we've got Melanie, we've got Niall, we've got Coldplay. But yeah, those are some of my other artists that were really, really close. Also, side note, I did listen to a total of 1,063 artists this year in total. All right, and we've made it to the final category of the day. This is the one that I honestly find least interesting, but people seem to really find more interesting. I don't know. But these are my top 10 most listened to songs of 2023. Before we jump in, I will say my total number of tracks scrobbled, as Last FM would say, this year is 3,550. Listen, you're gonna see something here, and we're gonna let it happen, okay? We're gonna let this. Don't say a word. At number 10, we have a song called Say Don't Go by Taylor Swift from an album called 1989, Taylor's version. Like I said, it's the best vaults like ever. I mean, it's really a tie between Red and 1989 for me. Those 2 vaults are really good. But yeah, Say Don't Go. Oh, God, that song is... Sorry, it's so good. Anyway, at number 9, we have Lost the Breakup by Maisie Peters. That song is phenomenal in every way, and it's a song that I will admit that I dance to in my living room all the time. Too much fun. At number 8, we have Suburban Legends by Taylor Swift from 1989, Taylor's version, The Vault. At number 7, we have Best by Gracie Abrams. Like I said, this is my favorite song from Good Riddance. It is the opening track from Good Riddance. It's not unsurprising for the first song on an album to be the most listened to from me because I have become a person who has to listen to albums in order. Well, doesn't have to, but mostly listens to albums in order. So a lot of times that first track will be my most listened to. But I also just love the song Best. At number 6, we have a song called Now That We Don't Talk by Taylor Swift from 1989, Taylor's version of Vaults. Yep, At number 5, we have a song called Too Well by Renee Rapp. This is just one of those songs that like I don't get tired of. It's so fun, it's so upbeat, it's so exciting, it's such a good time, which is really true of most of Renee's music, if I'm being honest. But it's just like, it's kind of sassy and cute and fun. At number 4, we have Nobody Gets Me by SZA. Like I said, I'm super basic. I know it's probably her most listened to song from that album, but it's so good. It's so good, it's so gorgeous, and like just the lyrics, like the flow of the song, everything about it is love. At number 3, we have Body Better by Maisie Peters. Since the album came out, I haven't listened to it as much, but when the single came out, it must have been early in the year. I don't actually remember, but yeah, I listened to it a lot, like a lot, like so many times, just like over and over and over, and it was kind of sad, but I love it. At number 2, and again, this is to me my song of the year, is You're Gonna Go Far by Noah Kahan. I've already talked about this song, so I won't talk about it more, but it's just the perfect song. It makes me very emo, and it's from my most listened to album of the year. And at number 1, I'm not proud of this behavior that this implies. I'm not proud of the behavior that it implies. But my number 1 most listened to song of the year is It Over Now by Taylor Swift. Yes, it is over now. The year is over now. But I listened to that song a lot. I listened to it a lot when it came out. Like too many times, really, considering it came out at the end of October. But I know I'm not alone in this, because I know a lot of people in their Spotify Wrapped even, which doesn't that end on the last day of October? Like, I know a ton of people had this song in there, so I know I'm not alone, but I know I also am insane. So yeah, that's my number 1 most listened to song of the year. Also, like, Slut was number 12. So all 5 of them were up there. They were all chillin'. It's a great vault. What can I say? And of course, as always, here are some of the honorable mentions, the ones that didn't make the top 10, but were pretty close to making the top 10. We've got Noah, Renee, of course, Taylor, Black Country New Road, that one song in particular I just really love, Death Cab, we've got SZA, Olivia, I think Vampire was the highest Olivia song on the list, but Jensen McCrae, who we love. Yeah, a lot of Taylor. Wow, that's a lot of Taylor Swift, actually, now that I'm looking at it. But again, it was the year of the eras. What can I say? But yeah, guys, that was my top / most listened to music of 2024. It was a fun one. And it is really cool, like, now I'm sitting here, it's the beginning of 2024, and it's like, what is this gonna look like at the end of this year? I have no idea, because I feel like my music taste, it's not that my taste is always changing, I guess, it's just that, like, I'm always open to like listening to new stuff, and you never know who's gonna show up and drop the best album you've ever heard. Like Noah Kahan, if you said he was gonna be my top album last year, I would've been like, who? Like, a year ago I would've been like, who? And now he is my top album. So I think it's really cool, like, going into New Year. I mean, that's true of literally everything in life, but like, it's like, what music's gonna show up at the end of this year? I don't know. Feel free to give me some predictions. Who's gonna come in this year and just drop an amazing album that everyone's gonna just not be able to stop listening to? Who's gonna do it? Lizzie McAlpine? Taylor Swift? Could be. Who knows what she's gonna do? Nobody ever knows, because we don't know. She's insane. I love her. A new artist that we don't know? If Jensen McCrae finally drops like another project. But anyway, yeah, that was my music of 2023. I hope it was an enjoyable, chatty little time that we had together. So yeah, hope you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for being here. And of course, thank you for the freaking support this past year. It was absolutely insane. Like, everybody across all of the platforms on which I exist. On Kayla Marie Reacts, right here, on She's Scared, on Instagram, on Twitch, on Patreon. You guys just really, I don't know what I would do without you. And I'm just very grateful for your support and your existence and your love and just everything that you do. So thank you guys so much for everything this past year, and just in general, I love you so very much, and I will see you in the next one. Bye, guys.